Yes guys, so welcome to the video. So today we are in Marbella and we're in this insane looking villa, and for the next sort of 2 weeks going to be out here trading, hopefully making some money, and I'm going to be taking you on a day in the life. So first things first, this villa is crazy, so need to show you a quick tour of this place. So this area right here is probably my favorite area. You've got the pool and everything. So this right here is where I've been doing the morning calls with VIP, and then you've obviously got this sick looking pool area, as you guys can see. Around there's not really much, but I've been doing my workouts out there. So what I've been kind of doing out here is I've just been kind of having the normal routine of doing the workouts, doing the trading, doing the live calls with VIP and everything like that, but just doing it from this villa instead. So if you come up here as well, you can see, as you walk up these steps, you have these sick panoramic views of pretty much the whole of the coast. And then if you come out here as well, this is where the breakfast spot, so you can sit at this table, enjoy the view whilst you're having your morning coffee or your morning eggs. Come around here as well, you can see this balcony goes all the way around. It's absolutely huge, so you guys can see. It's a bit of a cloudy day today. I don't know what's going on with the weather, but it's not normally like that here. And then if you come through here, show you the inside of the villa. So as you come through the front door, you've got this sick little kitchen area, nice little island stove sort of thing. This is where all the steaks are getting cooked, you guys know. If you come down here as well, this is sort of like the morning routine. You come down here, you come towards these doors, open it up, then again you've got this very cool panoramic view of the whole coast. Breakfast spot again, and yeah guys, so whilst we're out here, like I said, the plan is just to hopefully make some money with the trades and everything. Kind of come down here every morning, do the live calls and all of that. Obviously it's not optimal, the routine's not going to be optimal or anything like that. Whilst I'm out here, I'm kind of just taking a little bit of a kind of a break from the charts, but also going to be trying to catch some nice trades. And yeah, this week I'll take you on a week in the life or a day in the life, depending on when I get a trade. Obviously I don't trade every single day, just depends on when a setup forms. So throughout this week I'll keep you updated with all of the potential trades that we take, and yeah, I'll show you guys what life looks like out here. And this is one of the things about trading, right, is you don't have to do it from any one particular location. So I didn't have to ask anybody's permission to come out here. I didn't have to book a holiday or anything like that. I just felt like coming, so booked the villa, and now we're here, and now we're trading from this villa, and we can still make money and do what we normally do. So that's kind of the reason why I got into trading, rather than, you know, you see a lot of people online flexing their Lamborghinis and their Rolexes, but I would rather just, you know, spend my money on things like this and traveling and kind of just trading from wherever, right? So I'll take you guys on a full day in the life with me, and let's see if we can catch some nice winning trades. All right guys, so the first thing that I always do every morning, so we've just done our live morning call with the team, and I've just got done sending some of the forecasts over here in the Discord that we've just basically gone through in our live call. We've marked up all of the setups, any of the zones that we can look out for going into the week, so that the team is basically prepped and ready to react to what price shows me. So what I thought I would do is just go through a few of the pairs that I'm looking at going into this week, and then I'll keep you guys updated throughout the day if I do execute on any of those setups. One thing that I always do in my trading is, rather than sitting here all day just staring at the charts, one thing I'm a big advocate of is just setting alerts. Have your points of interest marked out, set alerts, and then only look at price when they're in those points of interest. Because I think a lot of the times, myself included in the past, you know, we get into trading with this kind of hope that we can, you know, replace our jobs and live this kind of lifestyle of freedom, right? And then too often, I think a lot of people, and like I said, myself included, we get into this habit of just obsessively looking at charts all day long. And not only is that not very productive, and it's just going to lead you to lose a lot of unnecessary trades and things like that, but it's also, you know, it's much better if you just spend less time on the charts. You're going to get less decision fatigue. You're going to be more mentally focused and have more mental capacity to execute high probability setups, right? So that's what I personally do every morning. I just come here, mark out my charts, mark on the points of interest, do the live call with the team, there's a trade, I'll take it live, but if there's not, I'll just set my alerts and then monitor price throughout the day. So if I just show you guys what I'm kind of looking out for going into this week. So obviously today is Monday. Monday is not typically a great trading day, just because it kind of price just really sets up for the rest of the week. But what I'm really looking out for mainly today, a lot of the other pairs, they need some more time to develop, but GJ in particular is looking quite clean. So GJ, what I'm looking out for is essentially, so if we just hop on over to the daily time frame, so we can see that overall for the past kind of couple of months, since around beginning of April, price has come down very correctively, sweeping these previous lows into this area of demand. This daily demand has then held, leading to this shift over to the upside and this very clear bullish trend that we've been looking to capitalize on recently, right? Now, looking to the left as well, we can see that price has stopped just before sweeping these previous highs to the left. So what this basically means, and this is one of the things that I like to emphasize inside VIP, which is that how do we kind of know when price is going to reverse and stop this bullish trend? And the thing that I personally look for is, if you look to the left and just ask yourself the question, is it reacting from anything significant? I.e., has it swept liquidity? Has it come into a clear level of supply? If it hasn't, it's probably not going to reverse from that level, and any moves down are probably just a retracement for an overall continuation for price to head back up towards these previous highs at the very least, right? So that's exactly what we've seen here. We've seen price retrace back into this whole sort of region here, which was a daily demand zone, which I've gone ahead and refined to this 4-hour demand zone. It was kind of a bit more hidden and harder to spot, just because it was previously mitigated with this wick right here, and it wasn't imbalanced or anything like that, but it was within this current bullish leg on daily time frame. And I'm currently viewing these as kind of like internal liquidity points that price has taken out, rather than seeing that from the perspective of it being a change of character or anything like that. So going into the week, what I'm essentially looking for, you can see from this area of demand, we had like a shift over to the upside, very clear momentum coming back in. And if we take a look at the hourly as well, you can see after we had that clear shift back bullish, price creates a higher high, going from this sort of downtrending structure back into bullish structure. Price has now created Asia low and this inducement above an area of demand. So heading into the week, what I'm looking out for is a sweep of this into the demand to hopefully capitalize on some buying opportunities back up towards this high. Would be a good first target, but overall still looking to target around this 200 level at these previous daily and weekly time frame highs as well. One thing that I'm seeing here though, you could say, for example, like this is a change of character, so we could maybe go off this area of demand. One thing I'm a big advocate of is reacting to price rather than trying to predict exactly where it's going to go. So what I'll do is I will monitor this area just in case price does present an entry from there. If it doesn't and it sweeps this low, I'm also going to be aware of that, and I'll look to react to price, obviously waiting for those lower time frame confirmations anyway, as per the strategy that I use. So that's kind of what I'm looking out for going into the week. As I said, the other pairs need a bit more time to develop, but yeah guys, I'll let you know if I take any setups throughout the day. Hopefully we can catch something nice for this video. Obviously I'm not going to force anything or anything like that. One thing I probably will do, if I don't take any trades today, I don't very often take trades on a Monday. If I take some throughout the week, I'll drop them in this video. So it'll be more of like a week in the life rather than a day in the life, but I'll drop those in the video, and I'll keep you guys updated throughout the week with any of the setups that I take. Alright guys, so the time has just gone around 3 p.m. UK time, so it's around New York session. New York session is kicking in, and I'm just currently monitoring a setup on gold that potentially could be forming. So let me just show you that on the charts real quick. So currently monitoring gold inside this point of interest. This is one of the areas that I sent out this morning, and I'm just looking for an entry at the moment. So basically what I look for is, if we go to the M5, I'm essentially looking for some sort of intention above the most recent structure. So at the moment it's this structure right here, and I'm simply waiting for price to close above it, wait for a retracement, and then we can look to get in. The GJ trade that I mentioned this morning did play out very nicely, as you guys can see, but it did not come down into our point of interest. It just kind of wicked into this imbalance, which, you know, it was kind of forecasted and the analysis was correct, but there was no entry criteria met here for me, so I didn't take the trade. So yeah, guys, gonna sit here for a bit longer, monitor price to see if gold does present an entry. But in the meantime, what I thought I would do is I'll take my laptop and everything down here and we will do a quick Q&A. I asked a Q&A on my Instagram story the other day. So I've got a load of like trading questions and life questions as well. So I'm gonna answer those and we'll get right into the Q&A. Alright guys, so the first question somebody has asked is, what is an A+ setup for me, and does one guarantee making money all of the time if you only take A+ setups? So for myself, I would say an A+ setup is when all of your confluences are met, right? So for myself, that would be when higher time frame aligns, you have a very clear trend, you have a clear point of interest which price is retraced into, and then you get a very clear entry confirmation. For myself, I use the M5 time frame, so this would consist of seeing an M5 change of character followed by some liquidity swept into an M5 point of interest, and that would be my A+ entry model. And again, this is based on backtested data that I've collected. You guys probably would have seen the backtesting videos on the channel. I'm essentially looking for that. That is my A+ model, and that is the data that I have collected on this system, and that is my A+ model. Obviously though, even though if you do take an A+ setup, it doesn't guarantee you will make money. A+ setups can still lose. Trading is only probability, and I personally have around a 45% win rate. So, you know, more than 50% of the time the trade is going to be a loss, but that's the power of risk to reward in trading, right? Because I have a 1 to 3 risk to reward, which I use a mechanical TP. For those that don't know, I'll just mechanically target a 1 to 3 risk to reward. And because I'm doing this, I can actually get away with losing 7 out of 10 trades and I'll still break even. And then obviously the goal is to win more than 26% of trades, and then I will pass that break even point and go into profitability. So that's really the power of risk to reward in trading. If you have a 1 to 3, you can literally lose 74% of the time and you would still break even on the trade. So a bit more of a personal one. Somebody said, how much experience do I have with trading? So I personally been trading for 5 years now, and what got me into trading was, you know, at the very beginning I was enticed by, you see all these lifestyle marketers online flexing their Lamborghinis, their Rolexes, and all of this sort of stuff. That's the original reason why I got into it. But I think over time, as I kind of shifted my perspective a little bit, it became more so about the freedom, right? So at the moment, perfect example, I'm out here in Marbella in this villa. I booked the flight. I didn't have to ask anybody's permission. I didn't have to book a holiday from my boss or anything like that. I just came out here, and I don't even know it. After this trip, I might book another villa and we might go there instead, or I might go to a different country and trade from there. And that's really the kind of the beautiful thing about trading, which is you can just do it from anywhere in the world. And really with any online business, that's kind of the crazy thing nowadays, right? You can literally make money from anywhere in the world as long as you have that skill set and as long as you have, you know, put in the necessary work to get to a certain level, right? So I personally started trading around 5 years ago now. I started it when I was in college. I used to look at baby pips in the back of the bus. The school bus used to take us between 2 different colleges, or in the UK it's called sixth form. It used to take us to and from 2 different colleges. I used to sit in the back of the bus looking at baby pips and learning all of the basics. And then that summer, I had a part-time job, but alongside that part-time job, I would do backtesting. At the time, I was a complete beginner. I had no knowledge of trade journaling or anything like that. So I kind of just made up this trading journal in a book. I used to manually write all of the trades out, whether it was a loss or win, and then journal down any of my emotions and the technical aspect of the trade and stuff like that. I didn't even have a trading plan. I would just, kind of take random trades, and just write down what my thought process was behind them. Kind of just, throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks, right? That's, I think, what everybody does at the beginning of their trading journey. Then what really kind of changed things for me was when I went to university that following year. So around 1 year later, I'd been training for 1 year at this point. When I went into university, I was following other people online. I was following their trades. I wasn't taking my own. When I got into university, I really didn't like it. So I kind of put my head down and kind of, put the accelerator on a little bit in terms of where I wanted to be with trading. And that's when I really started to, take it a bit more seriously, started to backtest, started to try out my first funded accounts with, back then it was with FTMO. And then 2 years later, I did end up, going full time with it after having passed several 100K worth of challenges. And that is where we are at now. Obviously, in between that, there were numerous setbacks, challenges, and everything like that you would probably expect if you're going through a similar thing yourself. The only thing that I would say is, it definitely is worth it. Like once you have this skill set and you can just travel and do whatever you want, whenever you want, that is very much worth it. But you have to go through that process in order to get there. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at now. And for years time, let's see where we can take it. Okay, so final question. This is again a bit more of a personal one, but it also very much links to trading. And somebody has asked, how do you spend your weekend as a trader? Now, in the past, what I would personally do is I would spend, and I think this is necessary, don't get me wrong, at the start of your trading journey, this is an essential part of it. What I would personally do is I would just spend the whole weekend backtesting, studying, prepping my charts for the week ahead, going over the previous week's trade, doing ASR, advanced self-review. If you're not familiar, this is something I speak about on the channel. It's where you go back through the previous week's trades, you kind of analyze them and do a performance review of yourself and also the trades that you took. But like I said, in the past, I would just spend my whole weekend doing that. But one thing I found over time is that it's much more beneficial to kind of do a reset on the weekend, kind of take your mind away from it, maybe focus on other things, focus on, gym, health and fitness, just kind of going to see new places, expanding your mind and those sorts of things, kind of just taking a mental rest from trading. Because if you are constantly focused on the charts, you are going to at some point get burnt out and get decision fatigue. And obviously that's going to detriment your trading performance over the long run. So my personal opinion is avoid all of these guys online that tell you, you need to be working 24/7, hustle culture, this and that. I would personally just stay away from that, and I would focus on kind of just taking that step back on the weekend if you are a trader, so you can reset and refocus going into the week ahead. And that has been the times when I've done that have been the times when I've made the most profit and I've made the most money. So this isn't just something I'm randomly coming up with. I have experienced both of these two, and I can say confidently that the latter one is the better approach in my opinion, because it just gives you that time to reset and refocus. Alright guys, so checking back in, it's now the end of the day. In the end, I did set a gold buy limit, but price never came back to tag us in. So I'm not sure, maybe we'll see an entry tomorrow, and if I take an entry tomorrow, I'll keep you updated with that, and I'll record it. So it'll end up being more of like a week in the life, but I'll record the trade if I do end up taking one, because market is shaping up quite nicely for the rest of the week. But sometimes trading is like that, right? You're not going to get a trade every day. One of the things that I always try to emphasize to the guys inside VIP is that focusing on quality over quantity is going to be more sustainable, and it's going to lead to more consistently longer term. So it's better to focus on only taking those A+ setups which come around once or twice every single week, rather than trying to trade multiple times per day. And at least over the 5 years that I've been trading now, that is one thing which has massively helped me, is rather than taking 10 trades per day, take 1 or 2 per week, and just focus on that consistency, taking only the highest quality setups, and that will lead to better results over time. That's what I've personally found anyway. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do more of these types of videos. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.